Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere, and even earn money. We like that. All in one place for totally free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your cellular telephone or your computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else, those other places that podcasts are heard.
Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free, zero catch. We've been using it ever since we started How Long Gone. And ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel like having the option of turning off the Q&As and the polls on the user dashboard has really helped boost my creativity and take it to another level. I highly recommend giving it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Little CB, what is up?
God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Welcome to
How are you, TJ?
Episode 101, the final episode of How Long Gone, because after we're recording this pod election day, high noon, Wednesday at noon. Tuesday at noon. Good chance that podcasting won't even exist tomorrow. Depending on how
I disagree. I disagree strongly with you, TJ. I think podcast is only going to thrive more. I bet there's a lot of people doing podcasts tonight after some results come in.
Well, there's actually a lot of podcasts that are doing live streaming events, like the more political ones, obviously, but like the failing New York Times Daily podcast will be doing a live show all day today. And then,
fuck Barbero. You want to go one-on-one, Barbero? We'll go on Zoom and we'll dust your ass,
I'm
loser.
sure Chapo is doing some big live thing for their Patreon subscribers, and Joe Rogan's doing a live thing. It's like a big. This is kind of an interesting media type that is emerging right now.
You know who I want to hear from the least on Election Day 2020?
All of those people?
Any podcaster, to be honest. In a live setting, I'm all set.
Who would you like to hear from? For me, it's rapper Plies.
I mean, Plies, yes. I stand with TJ and I stand with Plies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to hear from anyone, but unfortunately, I am absolutely unable to log off. I'm powerless against it. So,
yeah, Today, every day for my mental health, I try to, put the phone down at least for a little bit and just kind of, have a little meditative moment, or, what usually happens.
Usually, it seems to be when I need something from you, but maybe you're just avoiding my text. I don't know.
Oh, no, Chris, no. It's when I'm getting these gains, baby.
I see.
That's the main time when I shut off, and I'm sure you do the same as well. Whenever I text,
yeah, I do.
Whenever I text Chris Black, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7:30, it's not because he's yet to rise. It's because a man named Hunter is showing him different ways you could spin around on a swing in a local West Hollywood park, and you're like, if you keep going. I'm gonna teach you how to do an upside downsy, and you're like, show me now, Hunter, and he's like, no, Chris, you're not ready.
that is honestly, today he tried to get me to as I was upside down in the rings, hinging forward, he was like, just come out backwards, just flip around. And I was like, Hunter, my shoulders don't work that way. Ouchie.
And he's like, when I'm done with you, sweetheart, they will.
Exactly. Yeah, the flexibility, honestly. You know what he's trying to get me to do right now, which I think is good for stress relief, especially during this difficult time of election night in America 2020. He thinks that and I agree with him. It's great to just squat for 30 seconds or a minute here and there throughout the day.
Not a wall squat, just a Just
squat.
Just
Just
a regular
squat down
old squat, as if you were trying to start a fire as a caveman or something like that.
Just hang out in there, and it's just great for your body in general. And I find it really, it was difficult for me, but I'm getting better at it, and I think it's something we should all take into our practice.
Okay. Well, I mean, I do that every day, but with a bunch of weights attached to my body. Is that okay?
Well, that's the point. No, that's the point.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's
I'm just kidding. I don't do that.
I do it. He makes me do it in between sets instead of resting just standing. I rest in a squat, so we're not wasting a single minute of workout time.
That is nice. I like that.
It's cool. I don't mean to get into self-care like everybody else in this day, but I just, I want to remind you guys, just take some time for yourself. Like, let's not,
Well, if Chris Black is telling us to make sure to take a little time for ourselves, then we really are fucked.
I would never take
down is up and up is down if that's what's going on.
I mean, the internet is more torched than usual. The world is literally going to be more torched than usual.
Yeah, it is. It's a wild day. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a wild day, bro. It's a wild day.
Everyone is stressed. My girlfriend, she took 2 CBDs instead of 1 this morning. It's one of those. We already planned out what our election night stress eating meal will be. Clearly, we're going with breakfast for dinner.
You plan out every meal anyway. That's not new for you.
I know, but this one was it was extra. Like normally we'll plan it out and it'll be like, we got, but like the theme for our dinners usually is like, okay, what did we have yesterday? Like, what's in the rotation? Are we feeling naughty? Are we feeling nice? Have we been eating out too much? Should we go healthy? And then whichever way the wind is blowing will affect us. But today it was purely just like, all right, we're going to be stress eating tonight, watching, whatever election coverage, what's going down. I need you to make pancakes, scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, gravy, fresh squeezed orange juice with vodka in it. There's going to be espresso martinis. Who even knows what's going to happen?
we're gonna play tennis, really get the yayas out, and then who knows? You know what I mean?
Really get the yaya. All right, well, luckily my yayas are already out.
I have no yayas.
We know that your yayas are shooting blanks.
I mean, bro, I have nowhere to hide, bro. I can't snort a Xanny like you. I can't be gone off a bean. You know what I mean? I have to take this shit.
I don't do those drugs, Chris. I don't do drugs.
Yes, you do, loser.
I do.
Election 2020 is bending Chris over and hitting raw.
Well, do you need to call your sponsor?
No. I'm honestly, the way people are reacting to this is complete hysteria, and I'm not saying it's not serious, but there's a way to talk about this and handle this that isn't embarrassing or hysterical. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, Jason, like not reposting a video of Barack Obama making a 3-point shot.
Mm-hmm. That was so hot when he did that. Remember when presidents were fuckable?
Do you... You know what? My president is fuckable, and if that has to be Joe Biden, I'd let that old man hit. Fuck it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of... what podcast hasn't talked about all of this? But, the one thing that I forgot what I was listening to, but somebody was saying, like, nobody wants to... No, they described President Trump winning again as having to repeat senior year in high school, and then Joe Biden is taking summer school so you can graduate. Like, either way is bad, but we should, the right thing to do in the long run is to just, spend those 2 months in summer school plugging away so you can be done with it.
Agreed. And that hits home for us two losers. I think that, I was honestly on the fence about what to do, and then I saw that Lil Pump came out for Trumpito, and I have to say... It's a ringing endorsement that I think is going to bring in a different crowd that maybe wasn't hitting the polls before.
They weren't hitting the polls because they didn't know how to register to vote, and they're also legally unable to register to vote due to the amount of felonies on their record. Like Lil Pimp's demographic is definitely 15 and under, and then the people who are legally of the age to vote who are also fans of Lil Pump, they're all like registered sex offenders. They all have multiple felonies, carjacking. They all enjoy huffing, and they've been, they've spent the night in a Walmart jail. It's not going to turn any. It's not going to turn any votes.
For a Twitch segment, we should do a Twitch where we spend the night in Walmart jail. That's a great idea for content. Do you think what is Lil Pump's hit? Gucci Gang? That's his big hit, right?
Yeah, that is.
That was honestly years. I feel like that was an eternity ago.
Yeah, that feels, that's basically the same as like Bad Baby and Krayshawn, and like it's already just like the jersey's hung up in the rafters. It's in the annals of hip hop history. It could be 1 year ago, it could be 11 years ago. It doesn't matter.
Who's to say? Yeah, I mean, I do think that the candidates, I believe Offset is meeting people for selfies at his polling place in Atlanta, like outside of Atlanta. Like what? Like the fact that we are so dumb as a society that you to get you to vote, you have to go take a selfie with a rapper is absolutely demented. Like, but we're also yesterday I jogged all the way to Rodeo Drive and took a lap. All the beautiful designer stores just boarded up. This is the future we deserve.
Rodeo shut down like a few days ago in preparation for this.
Yeah, I mean today you can't even walk or drive down it. Yesterday,
which is unfair to me because I have a lot of returns to do, and the 30-day window is coming up, and Laura Piana is very strict on their policy. They've made that clear, and my hands are tied. Thanks to Trump and Biden.
I mean, it's upsetting to me for many reasons, obviously. But my Goyard initials, I guess I'll just get it next week. You know what I mean? I bought the big trunk because I've bought a lot. I've gotten a lot of stuff while I've been here in LA.
Got a lot of stuff.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just so bored with everything and exhausted by everything. All I want to do is, some good news today, Jason. Just a little breaking news before we get to our guest. Russell Westbrook was quoted as saying that he spends $1 million a year on his body.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's the corniest.
Not Russell Westbrook. Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
They're all corny. They're both corny, to be fair.
They're both corny. Russell Wilson, corniest in the game. But
corniest in the game. The simpest. Simping for Ciara is the name of the reality show.
Simping Ciara. Yeah, that, I mean, as a member of Future Hive, and all city boys in the world, we cannot support any Russell talk. I don't care if he wins football games for the Seahawks. I don't care if I like the Seahawks because they have a neon green jersey. I say get that mess out of here.
I agree, but if I could spend $1 million on my physique, do you know what I would look like? I mean, it would be unbelievable.
What is that money going towards?
I imagine food, nutritionists, gym specialists, doctors,
I mean, can you count food as that? Because
if you're paying a private chef and who's doing all of your meals for you because it's adhering to a diet plan that is oiling your machine, then yes, I think you can, TJ.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, since he's probably a Republican, he's probably not even experimenting with cool stuff. He's probably not doing illegal medicines and
he's not blood doping
and serums that are still unapproved by the American government. He's not doing anything cool with it. He's just I just drink a lot of Powerade, man. I don't know.
Powerade. They probably paid the $1 million for him to do that. We do have a guest today, and I think it's a very appropriate guest and hilarious. Big Steve, Stephen Phillips-Horst. You might know him on Twitter as Cancela Lansbury at Gossip Babies. He has a show called Talk Hole that also appears in Interview Magazine. He's a very funny guy. I think we need some comedy today and tomorrow when the show airs, and I'm sure he's going to have something funny to say about, the meme I just saw of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in the Star is Born artwork.
Mm-hmm. Truly the perfect guest to have as the Titanic begins its descent into the Atlantic Ocean.
Wow, Jason.
To sing us down. Poetic. All right, let's give him a jingle.
How are you, King?
Yo, I'm good.
Where are you? The Big Apple?
I'm in the Apple, the center of the Yoon, you know.
I do know, actually. Yeah, I do. I'm very familiar. What neighborhood are you situated in?
So I'm in Ridgewood, which
I'm
is...
sorry to hear that.
What is
okay.
Ridgewood the center of? It's not the Yoon.
It's the center of like straight techno guys. I don't know if you're familiar with that demo.
You're talking to one, sweetie.
Jason is a straight techno guy, actually.
Okay, well, I haven't really seen your ass around the block, so your techno pass is revoked until you make
I've been too busy fucking chicks.
a sustained presence in Ridgewood.
Yeah, it's been a while since I was tearing it up in BK clubs.
Have you been invited to any underground raves during quarantine?
Okay, so NGL, I did go to a rave on Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
It was an underpass rave. So it was an underground underpass rave.
Jesus, the best kind.
Honestly, it was pretty cool. Like, absolutely, did I get COVID? Yes. Like, I went to my Halloween was very just like, well, first I'm going to like an outdoor birthday party. It's outdoors. It's fine. And I'm like kissing like 30 people. Then I'm going to like an indoor party with like 20 gays. Like whatever. It's fine. It's so intimate. Then I'm going to a full rave with like 200 people. But it's like, it's fine. It's outdoors. Like everyone's in a mask, but like, except all the people like aren't in masks or like whatever. And like, so like it was very like super spready like as an evening, but honestly like all we can do is just like protect ourselves. That's all you can really control. So
I gotta say,
really guilty about it.
First 3 minutes of the pod, honey, welcome home. This is good.
I mean, this is a super spreader podcast. We're pro-spreading.
Can you walk me through the music story of this rave? I'm picturing like a Blade 2 energy of kind of industrial trance.
So it was hard style.
Shit.
I believe is the technical term.
Don't
for the
say
music.
I believe. You know exactly what hard style is.
Well, so the music at raves, like according to videos that I have seen on people's Finstas, like all summer has been this like very like 160 BPM kind of vibe.
Yeah.
That's what the kids are into. So this was definitely that, and it's just like, and then you're there and you're like, it's 40 degrees, so you're like in so many layers, and like my costume was just like I'm cold, so I'm wearing coats. But like some people are in costumes, and then you're like at the front there's like a COVID section in front of the DJ booth where everyone is just like spitting and it's so sweaty.
The VIP room is gone. Now it's the COVID section
it's just
in front of the DJ booth.
Yeah, it's the COVID section. And you're just like, okay, so like we're really like getting the heart rate up. And I guess like I'm old and everyone's young. Okay, the most insane part though was that there was a competing Gen Z rave. Ooh. Like down like a 5-minute path from where this more like millennial centered rave was. And like my boyfriend is like younger than me, so and he like is technically Gen Z, and we were like texting. He was like, I'm here, like I'm in the back. I was like, well, I'm here too. And we were just at different raves like the whole night and didn't realize it.
Wow.
I would like to know what the difference between both of those raves are actually. Did you attend the Gen Z one as well?
I didn't make it down like the haunted path to Gen Z rave, but honestly, it didn't sound as cool. Like it sounded more like he said like everyone was TikToking the whole time, and
this sounds fake. This sounds like a
TikTok at a rave.
Like people were it's like aren't you a cop if you TikTok at a rave? But they were just like making their little TikTok videos, and it was more phone, and it was like a little less like because when he got to our rave, he was like, oh damn, like this is really like turned up, and it was like I saw someone getting rimmed. Like
let's go.
Whoa.
What kind of drugs were being used at the rave?
Well, okay, so let me just preface this by saying that I'm recovering from surgery. So
you were gone off the oxys?
So you're saying that you had to put the coke up your asshole instead of your nose?
Yeah, I put it in a tampon from Lola. And I keistered it, and it really got into my bloodstream real quick. No, but I've been trying to take it easy, so I like wasn't doing the drugs that I might typically do. And
Was this like a serious surgery? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Well, it's actually a nasal surgery. So
you're
my,
Actually,
you've done
I
too
read
much
this.
coke.
I read this on Twitter. I did want to talk to you about it because I'm curious about getting this myself.
well, get back to me in a couple of weeks because honestly, right now I would say like don't go. Like I still like I'm worse than I was before this surgery, so I'm just kind of
And
like
it's been a couple weeks.
yeah, and like they lie to you so hard. Like when they first advertised it to me, the doctor was just like people wake up from this surgery and they immediately feel so good and they're breathing so well. Like I woke up from the surgery.
Poppy, yes.
Yeah, why is the doctor?
I don't know. Like sometimes, like I mean,
Well,
like this
the
was
Dominicans are known for their nasal work.
this was
That's
like
true.
one really friendly Latina nurse, but like there was a lot of other nurses, like not just her, who like kept feeding me this company line. And like when I woke up from the surgery, it was the worst pain of my life.
Damn.
I had to like get catheterized by like a gruff Eastern European nurse who like told me when I screamed, told me to stop being so dramatic. Like it was.
That sounds like Jason's sex life. Actually,
So,
that's pretty interesting.
The life of a bottom. So this was surgery that you had because like your nasal and your nasal passage, your allergies were clogged up. It was tough for you to
Yeah,
breathe.
I've always had issues. Like much like Trump, I'm addicted to Sudafed. Like I've been taking Sudafed my whole life.
Really?
Like,
You're a Fed head?
I'm a Federer. I'm a Federer, as we call ourselves.
Federer.
I mean, it's a beautiful drug, and it keeps, it hops you up, and it, and it gives you a little bit of life. But like, I don't want to become addicted, and I was just trying to do right by me and do right by my breathing for COVID and all this, and I was like, yeah, let's clear this shit out. Let's like go in there, and they undeviated my septum, but. I don't know. The recovery's been like awful. Like I was on my ass for a full week, couldn't do anything, and it still feels worse. And I just want. And it was very also like you kind of have to admit to coke use, and then like I'm trying to use all these metaphors on the doctor. I'm like, so when will my nostrils like sort of be back in action? And,
like when like in a movie where a woman gives birth and the husband is like, so how long until the all the stuff is back?
yeah, it's
But you were doing that for cocaine. That is tough. I mean, hopefully it comes through. I mean, it's kind of like LASIK for your nose is what I might liken it to. I think it'll just take a while to get used to it.
I'm hoping that a couple weeks are going to go by and I'm going to be like, oh fuck, I'm smelling shit I've never smelled before. Like,
That's what I was gonna say.
I can breathe again.
Yeah,
But-
does it feel good right now? It doesn't look swollen or anything. It feels like it's okay.
No, I mean, well, the outside, they didn't touch the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And
I thought you might have done a little tune up, while you were under the knife.
Yeah, while we're
said
getting
that.
the oil change.
Like everyone was like, oh yeah, like get like some other shit like while you're under. And I'm just like, why are you like implying that I need shit done to my gorgeous face? Like this is my moneymaker. I don't need to change it. And I took pictures before and I was like, I asked every doctor in the OR, I was like, if you fuck this up, like I have evidence, do not change the outside.
Did you do this in New York?
Yeah, I did it at this Medicaid hospital. It was kind of a horror show. I don't know. It was very like there was like a homeless guy in the room with me who I could hear the nurse being like, you have no one to pick you up. You have to go back to a shelter. Like you're not allowed to get surgery if you have no one to pick you up. Ooh. And I'm like, it was like so depressing. And like someone else, like while I was waking up from surgery, I overhear this nurse talking about this other guy. She's like, yeah, so he just had surgery in his left eye, but he's blind in his right eye. So now he's totally blind. He can't walk out of here. And I was like, y'all are just figuring this out now?
It feels like there's a lot of drama surrounding getting out of the hospital once the surgery is completed. That's the main kicker.
Yeah, the kicker. No, I was in the hospital for like 16 hours. And it's just like, I couldn't pee because of the anesthesia, and then it's like that becomes this whole other thing. And
what's the COVID vibe in the hospital?
They're being really like sketchy about it. Like I was like, first of all, I had scheduled it for March, and then I like didn't go because I was like, y'all, I'm not going to a hospital in March. And they kept trying to reschedule over the summer. They would call me, be like, hey, do you want to come back in? I was like, honestly, sis, like I'm good. Like And then like
this is not at the top of my priorities, this elective surgery that may or may not work.
Right. And then it was like, as people were like, oh, second wave vibes, like, get your surgeries in now. I was like, well, okay. Like, and they kept calling. And then like, literally I had already rescheduled. I was like, fine, I'll come back in October, I'll do it. And they like, and like the surgeon calls me before, she was like, oh wait, actually we had a cancellation. Do you want to come in on Friday? And I was like, don't I need a COVID test that you had scheduled that I was supposed to get before? And she was like, oh, like, it's fine. I'm like, what?
Damn, it's like you're getting your hair cut or something. Like,
oh, yeah.
Cancellation. You can come in for a color on Friday.
Yeah, I'm like, a cancellation. Like, isn't this a big deal? Like, I don't know. They're shady. And like, I have this suspicion. Okay, I saw on the board, they have this like screen that's very like when you're at the terminal and it's all the departures. And it was like listing all the surgeries that day. And I could see this little like alarm bell icon on a bunch of them. And I was like, oh my God, does that mean like all those patients have COVID? And this is like, and that's their secret internal doctor symbol for like, this is a COVID person that we're like cutting up for fun.
It's like if a blue check was a bad thing.
Yes, exactly. It was some sort of red check. But
well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
I'm glad that hell is over with and we're ready to get back to this awesome life and world that's going on right now.
Yeah, I'm excited that I can, do things such as get on a podcast, such as send and receive emails, and all of those things that brought me joy before my surgery. I'm kind of like rediscovering.
Well, you went to a rave. Me and Jason haven't even been to a rave. We've only been to Sunset Tower and the tennis court.
Oh, that sounds fun and rich.
We could go to a rave, but I just don't know if I'm quite. I don't know if I'm there yet. I do have the desire to dance and let my hair down, but I don't know.
So you guys like, okay, I guess I'm surprised that you guys are such like pussies, because I thought you were more like, yeah, fuck yeah, like LA.
No,
like, do whatever you want.
LA. No, we don't get it twisted. We are pussies.
Okay. I'm not a pussy. Jason's a pussy. I just don't like electronic music. That's holding me back, I think.
I just worry that my rave muscles have atrophied during quarantine, and I need a little bit more time to get back on my feet.
Okay, someone told me that your podcast was owned by Diplo, so I'm confused why you would say you don't like electronic music.
Well, the podcast is not owned by Diplo. It's owned by Joe Rogan, and Chris doesn't like any music that doesn't involve like an acoustic guitar.
That's not true. I love electric guitars, Jason. Don't do this. Don't do this in front of our guest.
He's not a member of the EDM community the way that we are.
That makes sense. I can see the wood beams and wherever you are. So you seem like an acoustic gal.
Do not attack the wood beams at the Villa Carlotta just because I like good music. You guys don't. I can't help that. But at this point, I would go to rave happily. I think if Jason would take me to one, he's my only connection to the EDM community.
All right, that is the final stage after Nobu, I guess.
Yeah, we've been to all the bad super spreader celebrity restaurants, so we need something else to do now.
And you've had like a poor like POC service worker serve you a birthday cake while wearing a full face shield.
Look. No, we haven't.
A birthday cake.
But I'm not going to let you attack my queen, Kendall Jenner, to my face today. You're not going to get away with that. You're not going to live to walk another day. You can't go cast your vote for Trump when I'm done with you if you're coming for
Listen, I'm not. Listen, she's giving good Americans jobs. These people want to work. And she's giving them.
This is why we go to Nobu. I mean, that's the eternal argument of like it's bad, but it's all these are also people who need jobs and they depend on these dollars and these tips. So. There's no right
and we're
answer.
tipping, Steven, we're tipping big. Don't get it twisted.
We're doing upwards of 20% sometimes.
Damn.
Yeah, I said it. You didn't hear that wrong.
Swag in effect. I mean, I'm a big tipper. I'm a big proponent of tipping culture. I gave the Uber driver who took us to the rave a 50 by accident on Halloween. But you know what? It goes out there, and it made him so happy. It was worth it.
You tipped the Uber driver $50, not 50%, just like $50.
like a hard $50
Like a hard
in
50.
cash.
Cash?
Like I thought it was a 20 because I was like, he like took extra, like he wasn't supposed to, like people. It was like 6 people in a car. And then I was like, and we were like, oh, we'll tip you, like, don't worry. And so I thought it was a 20 because, you know, you kind of think you know your wallet, right?
Sure.
And you reach in, and then as I was handing it, like, he just had this huge smile on his face, and I kind of realized I was like, uh-oh.
No, actually, let me get that back. I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong. I gave you the wrong bill. My bad, bro.
But what's a little bit of Christmas joy, you know, on Halloween?
Yeah, pay it forward.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I do want to ask you about the outrage around the Kendall Jenner birthday blowout, because I would like to say that anyone, if you're rich and hot, you would do the same thing, and you're all poor and ugly for getting mad.
Yeah, I tend to think that anyone who is a hater is a fan who isn't hot.
Yeah,
like
that's a good way to frame it. I like that.
You know, the opposite of a great man once said, I think it was Kate Hudson, but love is not the opposite of hate. Indifference is. Do you know what I mean? Because love and hate are really two sides of the same coin. It's really about, you're obsessed.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think the haters are just fans, and they're just sort of projecting their own insecurities. But you know, I do think the Kardashians are really the past week has been crazy in terms of the content coming
They're
out.
pushing it. They're pushing it.
They're really pushing it. The psycho hologram, the trip to Mexico, the birthday, and then the Halloween costume. Like every day there's a new, $16 million production Halloween costume. It's been really wild.
It's very cool.
It makes you wonder, are they up to something? Is this a distraction? Is this a false flag? Do you have any dubious thoughts like that?
I agree with that. I think it's some sort of like Illuminati, just like pull out all the stops. You know,
do you think they've been contacted by President Donald Trump to end COVID?
Or are they doing this for Kanye?
Oh, good point.
Or are they doing it like or is she doing it to undermine Kanye to make sure he doesn't win? I mean,
damn.
Okay, you're thinking 5D, baby. I like it.
I like this. So you're a truther, and I like that about you. But I do think that Kanye, I have a whole theory that Kanye thinks he's like a Bowie type, and he's going to shed the Kardashian skin and re-find himself for a new album.
You think his next album will come? I think he's in really, really deep, and like he is never leaving the Kardashian world.
No, I disagree. I think he will snap out of it. I think it's possible that.
But what if pussy is too bomb, Chris?
Do you think Kim is actually hitting every day?
No, I mean, I'll tell you what I've heard, the anecdote that I've heard from a friend who will remain nameless, who has worked with Kanye, but that it's very like Kim is kind of the top in this way. She kind of wears the pants, and that he'll like fall asleep with his head on her lap kind of vibes, and that like he drinks, but he doesn't really do anything else.
I mean, this sounds like my relationship. I mean, all of this sounds like kind of sweet and nice so far, right?
Yeah. Which I think kind of like bolsters my point that like I don't think he's really kind of leaving that world. Like
he's a comfortable little bunny who is happy to be where he's at.
Bunny is the exact word I would use. Like
guys, I'm not arguing with you that sounds reasonable, but I'm saying I think something could happen to change that creatively, or maybe he switches meds or something.
Well, I mean, becoming president might change things.
That's a good point.
There's still a good chance that'll happen
for Americans.
Yeah, are you? Did you already vote?
No, I was maybe going to vote later. I'm just sort of like... today, obviously, is election day, but, I have a lot on my plate. I'm working on some other projects.
Yeah, sure. I get that. It is a busy Twitter.
It's a busy time. I vote in Manhattan. That's kind of far away. So, yeah, I've got a lot to figure out.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. As a fellow Twitter power user, are you finding the platform insufferable right now? Because I'm having a tough time.
Oh God, it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes even there's three sides to that sword. I mean,
The
it's
sword is
awful.
crazy.
It's giving me so much attention, and I love that, and I crave it. At the same time, to what end, right? Like, how is it useful to me? It's not. So I struggle with this. Obviously, everyone's insane. I mean, like, if Trump wins, which I will be not surprised if it happens. I feel like there's like a 60% chance he will win, maybe a 40% chance Biden will win. But I'm just
those are pretty good numbers. I can't disagree with any of that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's where I kind of think it's gonna happen. But I'm just like, the insufferability of like liberals on Twitter and like everyone I know. It's like, I don't think I can take it. I don't think I can take it.
It's going to be rough, bro. It's going to be
you don't
very,
have
very
to
difficult.
take it. You can just not look. Is that possible for you?
No.
It's not, is it? It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, we're too addicted.
Maybe maybe a little get off the grid vacay upstate. Can we hit Maine tonight?
The thing is, like, it's so cold up there, and like my sinuses are healing, and so I was actually hoping to go to like the tropics or something, but then I was worried there was going to be another shutdown, and then I'd be stranded in the Dominican, and then it's like,
right. Hoping for more of a Cabo moment.
When you go to DR to get your butt shots on quote vacation unquote,
right?
It will if Trump wins, COVID is over and there's no lockdown, baby. So something to consider.
Don't you also think that if Biden wins, they'll be like, okay, it was all a hoax?
I mean, I think I said this to Jason yesterday off mic, but I do think that the real key of a Biden win is that it's employee morale for people we know. It will really give people a shot of positivity that we desperately need in this country.
Yeah.
For those of us who have friends who have like feelings and emotions and their nerve endings haven't burned off the way ours have, I'm putting words in your mouth, but I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you might be able to enjoy your life without, whichever way that goes.
The cookie does indeed crumble. No, I feel like I've gotten so many texts from people. I'm kind of known in circles as being a political prognosticator, a political analyst, and people will text me saying, do you think we're going to be okay on Tuesday? What do you and I'm kind of just like, babe, that's up to you. Like, that's really, that's on you if you're going to be okay.
And what does okay even mean?
I can't be responsible for your mental health. Or the mental health of a nation, or of Kanye, or of anyone.
Are you taking some time for yourself today just to breathe?
Absolutely not. As I said, I do Sudafed regularly, so
I've never done Sudafed as an allergy man, but I do love Benadryl. I guess is that sort of the opposite of Benadryl, where you get high, but in like a upper versus a downer.
So Benadryl comes in two forms. There's a drowsy and a non-drowse. I'm not really sure which you've been using.
Full drowse or nothing.
Okay, so that's going to go ahead and be the opposite for Sudafed.
Dripper drowse.
It's dripper. Yeah, and like it's drippy. You know what I mean? Like Sudafed is, you got to get the 120 milligram Sudafedrin, which you do have to ask for at the pharmacist. You have to show ID because it is meth.
That one is behind the counter and it's locked up.
It's behind the count, and it's kind of like it's an upper. It gets you going. It just it really, really, really relieves all that pressure in your sinus area. And there's that infamous shot of Trump where he's in his office, the same office where he was like had that taco bowl, and you can see like there's a drawer he has behind him that's like open, and there's all this like European Sudafed like busting out of it because like he like stocked up, or like one of his like assistants stocked up when they were there. Just like probably at their like Thai factory in Italy or something, and so I think that's
how did you get into this?
How did I first get into Sudafed? Yeah.
When did you realize that you were an uppers guy and not a downers guy? Or are you a downers guy?
I mean, I do like weed. But
I don't know if I would call weed a downer. It can go both ways. I think, a real downer, Xannies, Perkies, stuff like that.
Yeah, I like alcohol too. I don't know where that falls in on the spectrum. Yeah,
That's
pills.
alcohol's a downer, I think, except tequila.
Unless you're a tequila boy.
I am.
Mhm.
Cameron Diaz is like my religion, and she kind of is the ultimate like tequila girl. Even though she just launched a natural wine, which I haven't tried yet.
I was gonna ask. I could probably get you sorted with some bottles of Cameron's wine. Let me make some calls.
If you can send some Avaline over my way, I would be so appreciativo.
So you're a big Diaz head?
I'm a huge Diaz head, like Charlie's Angels, sweetest thing. I mean, to me, she is just like the epitome of like you can have fun, you know? Life is about having fun. And like she's always been like just like that white girl who wants to have fun and like isn't obnoxious about it, you know?
I kind of agree with you. I've never thought about Cammy this hard before, but you make some good points.
I recently rewatched Charlie's Angels like a month ago, and there was a scene where she does the butt dance. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, on Soul Train.
Yeah, but she kind of does that butt dance a few times in the movie where it's I couldn't really wrap my head around what she was trying to accomplish with it. I didn't know if it was like an ironic one or if it was in earnest. What do you think?
Does she have a fatty on her?
She does not. And
Okay.
she does a butt dance in a very white girl way where it had me wondering, like, does she think is this a real dance? Or
but you know, okay, let me answer your question. First of all, let me just say,
I'm getting ahead of myself.
As someone with a famously flat, some might even say Victorianly wide ass, I relate to Cameron. I love seeing like a flat ass just like shaking it. You know what I mean? Because like we matter. But
well, I mean, I guess the flat ass shaking is the true epitome of her spirit, right?
Yes, exactly. It's like you don't need this, you know, dance hall ass, you know, to have fun.
I don't need this Kardashian dump truck.
Exactly. Okay. I don't need to go to the DR and get implants, you know, just to get the guy. But I think in terms of your question, you know, is she like ironic white girl? Is she earnest white girl? I think she exists in this beautiful, genuine space that's like pre-ironic and like that's just pure joy. And it's like, obviously there's some self-awareness. Like she knows she's being silly, right? She knows like, but it's before Amy Schumer came along and like, you know, did like, you know, took the sort of parody of like white sorority girl, like to its, you know, Comedy Central conclusion. And it's like, it's pre all that. There's just, it's just pure. It's like, it's pure joy. And so I think like, yeah, I think you can appreciate it on an ironic level now in 2020 and you can bring some self-awareness to it. But like, you should also just revel in the joy that someone with a flat ass is allowed to have fun.
And she's not asking for permission to do it. She's just doing it. And
she's not apologizing either because we live in an apology-based culture now. And she is not saying sorry.
Yeah, she really does exist in that sweet spot of time. And I think it's almost impossible or at least extremely difficult to exist with that same kind of ethos and mindset nowadays. What do you think?
100% hard agree. I mean, you know, the golden age of that 2000s era of just, you know, sort of like of these like fantasy rom-coms and just like, you know, these like fun-loving chicas, like it's passed us by.
Hey, chicas.
Like, well, yeah, because, you know, in the pre-girl boss movement, like you could have like women could be like sexy and have fun and it didn't have to like also have this like corporate political agenda. But now there's no such thing as girls having fun that doesn't have the corporate political agenda attached to it. And it's really, I think it's soured what was a beautiful milieu.
Can I ask?
Soured is a great word for it.
Can I ask why did she stop acting? Do you think she's made enough money and she just wanted to chill because she's a cool chick?
She's a cool chick. She's like with the guy from Good Charlotte.
Oh shit, I forgot. Well, yeah. What do you think about that though? Is that a chink in the armor, or do we approve of Benji Madden?
I approve of Benji. Like that's cool.
Damn, I didn't know that was your type.
I feel like at a certain point, like when you're over 40, it's like all guys are kind of like ex-hardcore guys. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, but there's a difference between ex-hardcore guys and current hardcore guys. Like, ex-hardcore guys don't still wear eyeliner when they're in their 40s. Like, Benji Madden still is wearing like Vans checkered shoes and like cut off denim shorts and
long
eyeliner
shorts.
and shit.
yeah, but I guess I still see that as ex-hardcore because I'm just kind of like, your heyday is behind you and like you just haven't like changed your outfit. But like it's still kind of like I think that's like so chill, you know? Like other like as opposed to her dating some like I don't know, A-Rod or whatever. Because she already did that, right? She literally dated A-Rod. She did all that. She dated Justin Timberlake. She dated A-Rod. She dated the like A-list guys or whatever. And then she's just like, honestly, I want to sit around, like get fucked, have a kid, whatever. And
you know, now that we say that, her marrying Benji from Good Charlotte is the final act in Charlie's. Sorry, not Charlie's. It's just like the perfect thing for her to do. It encapsulates her entire lifestyle.
We have to remember she lived a lot of life before settling down. It's not like she really did it all.
Yeah, and I think this speaks to the point I was making earlier. Just to piggyback off myself here, I think that you know when she was dating Avon and JT, it was like, and she's in her heyday. It's kind of like she could still be this genuine, fun-loving, joyful person. And I think now, making those decisions, it's like J-Lo is such a like, J-Lo, I worship J-Lo, but like she is a machine, she is like a corporation. And so like her and A-Rod are this power couple and she's launching 18 different brands every day. And like, she's not really a human being anymore. And it's like Cameron was like, did that when it was fun for her. But like, in order to stay human now, you kind of have to like bring it back down to earth. And you just got to like, marry the ex-rocker and call it a day.
Yeah, life isn't about just being a human business. We also need to have fun on this crazy ride.
I couldn't agree more. And fucking slide into that casket. fucking your meat skeleton, like all fucked up and bruised. Hell yes.
So Cameron is your spirit animal. This is great.
Oh, 100%.
Do you think
I've never heard anybody talk about Cameron like this, actually?
Who do you think Cameron has passed the torch on to? Like, who is the Gen Z version of Cam D, or is that impossible? Miley Cyrus has a little bit of it.
No, God, no. They're all so self-conscious. They're all too neurotic. Like, it's not possible.
What about Vanessa Hudgens?
Hell no. I'm sorry you had to hear that.
More like Vanessa Pudgens.
I was just kidding, guys. I would never suggest that Hudgens was in the same category as Diaz. Give me a break.
Let's talk about Talkhole.
Oh, I love that idea.
I know. It's important that we share your platform to our listeners and vice versa.
Thank you. So yeah, Talkhole is some people have called it one of the only columns in the country. It's a written column. It's an interview magazine.
Yeah, do you remember columns?
I do.
I don't really. I mean, I guess growing up, I read Maureen Dowd every week.
Sure.
But
shut up. I was thinking more of ancient Rome, but I understand what you guys are
talking about. Wow,
okay.
He's been reading too many Architectural Digest columns.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm in my bag.
Sidebar. Have you guys watched the Vanessa Carlton Architectural Digest video?
Chris and Vanessa are actually mans. One thing.
Yeah, Vanessa's an old friend of mine. I've been in that apartment pre and post reno.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I guess I won't talk shit about
her. Please, no. You're welcome to talk shit about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
This is a safe space. Even though Chris has seen it down to the studs, go ahead.
The apartment is whatever. It was just her. I don't know if it's her actual personality or the way it's edited or a sort of character that she's putting on for the video, but I find that video to be insane. I
actually didn't watch it, to be honest with you.
It was too. A lot of people too close to
me. I'm too close to the work. I'm too close.
No, and you gotta take a step back or whatever. I get that. It's hard. Yeah, so go dark for a year and then watch the video. But it's like it's like character that a comedian would. I don't know. It's insane. Like everything she talks about, she's just like, these windows are at different heights, which I think is really interesting. Like it's so crazy the way she talks about the space. Or she'll just be like, this chair is actually sourced by a designer who's really, 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 really good at finding, I want to say, industrial pieces. And it's just like a metal stool. Like it's really crazy.
I need to watch. And also, VC is down to clown. She would probably love your imitation of her.
Well, I want to say, I may be misremembering this, but I think I like grinded with her at a club in Williamsburg in like 2010 or something.
Are you friends with any members of the New York City Ballet?
No. What?
Cool question.
Sorry, I didn't know if you had a performing arts background. You know what I mean? I just wanted to ask.
Oh,
we're just asking because Vanessa is a season pass holder. You know that.
She was in the ballet, and that's like her crew, kind of. And I feel like they would go out dancing. That's why I was asking that. If you maybe knew somebody from the crew.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in such a like balletic flash mob. It was just at like Trophy Bar or something. It was just like at a bar in Williamsburg. But like
balletic flash mob with love.
Yeah. I want to say she was maybe friends with like Fisher Spooner kind of indie music people, and that's
what I was trying to understand. That's what I was trying to put together.
I think that's why we were in the same space.
Okay, so taco sounds cool.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah.
Okay, so you are. It's currently a column on Interview, but you guys started out as a comedy show /
We started out as a comedy show. It's me and my friend Eric Schwartau, who is another, if you can believe it, he's another gay white man.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot in this area at the sort of Brooklyn, Queens border, and the sort of border country, as we call it. And
it sounds like Jason and I, actually, but continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank
you're
God
both
I was sitting
gay
down.
and white?
That's right.
Okay, well, congrats. Our voices are marginalized, so you know what I mean. Like, we need to be elevated in the discourse, and
this is why we pod,
and that's why I do my column.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we actually started like we live in New York, and there's like such a scene of like people going out, and like everyone would always go to Art Basel, and then like we were like we want to go to Basel, but not just like as hangers on, like we want to really have like a reason to be there.
To go.
Mm-hmm.
So we convinced the NADA fair, which is like the sort of satellite independent fair, that's like not Basel, the fancy one, to like let us do a comedy show. This was in 2015 or 2014, and I think they like paid for us to have like half a hotel room for like one night.
That sounds that's very Art Basel. That's the whole thing.
And like didn't pay for our plane tickets. We had to like get those ourselves. But we were so excited. We were like, yes. So we're gonna do this comedy show. And it was like a horrible show. And it was like no one laughed. And it was like
so the stand-up show at Art Basel did not go over well, is what you're saying.
It did not go over well. It was at a bar, and no one at the bar knew that it was a comedy show. And people were like, get off the stage. Like it was very that kind of vibe. But then we were like, this was such a rush. Let's keep doing it. So then we started doing a comedy show in New York at a basement karaoke lounge at an Italian Chinese fusion restaurant in Chinatown called Asia Roma. And we just sort of kept doing it. And then it, evolved into being, some would say, like one of the most important cultural movements of the past 5 years.
Sure.
And
at the very least.
Very cool.
Did you always have aspirations to do your own stand-up show, or was this just something that kind of popped up out of nowhere? Have you ever done a comedy show before that?
Well, I had been doing stand-up, for like a year or two, and kind of doing friend shows here and there. So yeah, it was definitely already in the mix. But I used to work in politics, and like
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I used to work in campaigns. So
which Bush did you stump for? Jeb?
Yeah, I was really active on the Jeb campaign. I actually came up with the exclamation point. That was me. That was my stroke of
It's an honor to have you on this FaceTime.
No, but I worked for several years in local politics in New York, and then also like I would work on like I worked in New Mexico on a Senate campaign. I worked in Florida for like the Democratic Party. I worked for Bill de Blasio as a speechwriter. I was like worked for Scott Stringer, who ran for mayor. It's like I did lots of stuff.
He's lived so many lives, from Stringer to the rave.
From Stringer to I was trying to winger, right winger, left winger, something.
Left winger.
But left winger. But yeah, I don't know. Politics is boring. Like everyone just wears like a big suit, and it's like really kind of boring people. And
can you make any money doing that, or is it all bullshit?
Stand up or speech writing?
No, I know. I know stand up is bullshit. I mean speech writing.
I mean, if you're like a speechwriter to the, I mean, like okay, I will admit, I also like Bill, like very much like Bill de Blasio. Like I don't know if you've been following, but he's very like isolated politically.
Yes, I've been following. How could you not follow, really?
So like earlier this year, he actually like reached out to me and was like, will you come work for us again? And I did some speech writing for him and his wife for like a few weeks. And
hey, a bag is a bag,
A bag is a bag. And I was like, damn, like y'all must be really desperate if you're like going through the Rolodex and like calling up this faggot who worked for you 8 years ago. Just like literally like, no, like you have alienated everyone.
You got nothing left. You're at the bottom.
Steven will answer. He always picks up.
But yeah, I got a nice bag for doing very little work.
I would like you to walk us through the process of writing a speech. I've actually never. Do you do a full draft and then they read it and give you notes, or do you talk first and it's kind of collaborative? Like, give us an example of how that process works.
There's usually like most of the time there's like existing stuff to work with. You have like anecdotes. I mean, when I first was working with Bill back in the day, his wife like hadn't really done public speaking before. Or like political speaking before. So we would like have a conversation.
Yeah.
And then like I would like write down a bunch of the stuff she would say. And then I would kind of turn it into like a speech and like put a couple like zingers in here and there. Which is like kind of boring. Now, usually though, it's like you've got a lot of talking points you have to hit. You've got to make it short. And then you write it, and then like another speechwriter like changes everything, and then another person changes everything, and then like they don't end up giving the speech because the event is canceled, and like, that's what happens. And it's like a pointless process. But yeah, like I worked on his wife's Martin Luther King Day speech for this year, which I think is
wow.
So important to get that sort of white gay perspective in there.
For Bill de Blasio's wife to speak on the subject?
Yes. Who is a woman of color and a former lesbian, I will say.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know she was a former lesbian.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she's married to him now and he is a cisgendered male, but like in the 70s, she like came out as a lesbian and it was like a big deal.
Do you think Bill is hitting it right? Did Bill turn her?
I mean, he's doing something right. Like, I mean, he's very tall. So
you're insinuating that Bill de Blasio of New York City has a big dick?
Connect the dots, sweetie.
Yeah, we're talking about Big Willie de Blasio here.
Big Willie de Blasio, Big Worm de Blasio.
Big worm.
Speaking of politics, what are your plans tonight for watching the election results unfold?
I'm gonna go over to a friend's house, make a big cup of hot cocoa, put on my she persisted onesie, which is size it's size 18 to 24 months, but it does fit me. And I'm just excited to watch the orange man eat it. You know what I mean? I will not be doing what we did 4 years ago, which is Talk Hole hosted an election night party, and it was obviously like such a disaster. It was at the Kickstarter offices.
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
It was such a shit show, and it was like We had like all this. We had ordered this one really, really big sandwich that was like cut into small parts. It was like this. It was like this mile-long hoagie, and it was like.
Wait, are we still talking about
this,
Bill de Blasio?
Yes, yes. We had de Blasio just put his big old hoagie down on a slab. We all took bites. And it was like, we had this whole like bit, and we had all these comedians doing characters, and like every time like Hillary won a state, we would feed it through a paper shredder. And every time Trump won a state, we would put it in the trash. We thought we were so clever. And it was like, it was just like, as the night wore on, it was like getting really like weird. And it was everyone like, oh, like Trump's gonna win. And then like all these girls were like crying. And then it was like, it was just like getting like, then like everyone's getting like blackout wasted. And it was just like, my friend was like still doing her weird libertarian, like New Hampshire politician character. Like, and it was just like, why are we hosting a comedy show? Like, this makes no sense.
Does that feel like 4 years ago or 100 years ago?
That feels like 100 years ago. Like
Totally.
Kickstarter, like who's done a Kickstarter in like years?
Yeah.
Like,
No, Kickstarter is no longer.
Yeah,
a
that
thing.
is giving me the flashbacks of watching that flower just quickly wilt and die right before you over just a few hours. And
yeah.
it was just so many video shots on the news of women just crying and fellas too.
Yeah.
The crying part
everyone-
was just so weird to me.
And they did that fucking Javits Center like rent out thing. God,
So big. I know. Well, the
that was
wing.
so
I don't
retarded.
think the wing existed yet, so they had to get the Javits Center.
I know. Can you believe 4 years ago the wing didn't exist, and now it also doesn't exist? It's been
Life comes at you fast. You know what I mean?
It really
Life comes
does.
at you fast.
Chris worked hard in the last 4 years to get that thing taken down.
Yeah, I really did. I was on the front lines of destroying the wing. I just couldn't deal. You know, I
And
just couldn't deal.
Anyway, and you're starting the men's wing, is that correct?
Yeah, it's called the
called the
Proud
Hing.
Boys. It's called the Proud Boys, but we have a tough time getting a clubhouse. They won't really lease us anything.
Yeah,
We're kind of like the Hell's Angels with cooler shirts.
I kind of like, I don't know, I think Hing works, or maybe Ming, and it kind of has this whole like Ming Dynasty, like Chinese vase.
that is
kind of
exactly
aesthetic.
where my head was going. And it's
I
like
don't know if that
Hinge
works with-
without it's Hinge where the E is silent, so there's a little bit of like sexiness
That's
going on
cool.
there as well.
That's cool. I don't know if I'm into like an Asian design scheme for the offices, but we could talk about it.
We know. Whereas I am gunning for it.
We know.
I think Asian is about to make like a big return, but not like Japanese, because I feel like Japanese and Scandinavian design are sort of on their way out, and the next is just like, you know, really sort of like busy kind of like chinoiserie.
Okay. Lots like some gold wallpaper. Like, are we talking about modern day Chinese decor, or are we talking about maybe like 60s, 70s style?
Are we looking back or are we looking forward?
That's a good question.
I think looking forward is always looking back. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Okay,
Damn, my man's got fucking bars.
My edible just kicked in.
Damn.
I mean, the future is retro. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I don't. Jason, are you going to watch the results come in? Or are you going
I
to just
guess.
chill, bro? Yeah, it's hard not to watch it because there's nothing else on TV.
I'm a cord cutter, so I don't even know how to do it. So I guess I'll just pull Twitter up on the flatty and see what happens.
Luckily at Villa Carlotta, I've got a full selection of cable channels.
Yeah, Chris
so I'll be
has
watching.
he's been living in a hotel for months at this point.
Who is Can I ask? Are you like sort of paying for that on your own? It sounds expensive to live in a hotel.
First of all, the way you approached me like that the disrespect was palpable.
I feel like that was respectable. I mean, he was leaving the door open for any scenario, sugar daddy, mama, or an independent.
I mean, like maybe that your income like supports that, which is like dope, I guess, but interesting.
It is dope.
Time.
Or since he's a member of the media, did he get this for free?
Yeah, I'm like, is there an influencer kickback sort of
I'm
thing?
not.
How
I don't
many
know.
posts
There's no-
does he have to do? That
The
kind of
only
thing.
influencer on this podcast is you, King. So let's not. You know, I don't get those kind of deals.
Yeah, Steven, have
Okay.
you done any influencer work?
Yeah, I have. I guess I'm kind of bad at it. So Ugly Seltzer sent me this seltzer, and like it's pumpkin spice flavored, and like I think it's disgusting. So I was like,
sounds awful.
well,
That
maybe
does sound
it's
awful.
like inappropriate for me to like post it, but they gave me this code if people want to get 20% off with their own seltzer, and like so I'm like, maybe I should just be posting about it to
Did
like
they
show
pay
my
you money?
influencer story. No, they just sent me seltzer.
No, fuck that then. Don't post shit unless they drop in the bag or something you like. Don't post it.
Yeah, but then my friends were drinking it, and like my lesbian friend was like, "Oh my god, this is so good! I love this pumpkin spice seltzer." I'm like, "You're actually foul," but like, it's like I don't want this kind. I don't want like a toasty fall seltzer. Like that's nasty.
No,
Like,
that's not. I want a crisp, refreshing seltzer. I don't want it to be toasty.
But you're
yeah,
going to be drinking that sometime in April when there's nothing left at the party, and you're going to be like, I guess we still have some of these pumpkin spice seltzies.
I mean, I could see it using it as a mixer with like rum and kind of like a rum, like horchata, like cinnamon stick kind of spice.
Yeah, when I'm
maybe?
drinking that nice thick creamy horchata, I'm like, how can this get better? Let's pour in some loose seltzer.
Yeah,
Yeah, some raw seltzer.
I just need some bubbles in this. That's what's really going to set it off.
So I could see that working. But no, I don't get a lot of like influencer options. I'm just, I'm not famous enough. I just get weird DMs from guys who like aren't hot enough for it to be exciting. And like, I wish, like, okay.
Are you in an open relationship or no?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm gay.
I was going to say that, but I thought that was out of line for me. So thank you for handling
no
this.
gay person is in a closed relationship. Like that just doesn't happen. But like I always see these girls on Twitter like always being like, oh, like I get all these like rape threats every day, and I'm just like, I fucking wish I got that. Like I want like creepy guys in my DMs being like, yeah, I'm gonna come over and like ride you till you're wet and like push you. It's like I want all these like creepy guys, but I just get these like sixes like coming in just being like, big fan of your work, like I want you to marry me. And it's just like, I don't know, like you have like a normal ass face and you're like 5'5", and it's like, thanks. It's just like, because obviously super hot guys aren't going to DM you because they're not thirsty and desperate. And so it's just kind of like you're just in this weird liminal space of just getting kind of like, just straight up medium guy.
How much are you
regular face?
How much are you on the pursuit for sex with other people versus just if it comes around, I should say, then I'm open to it.
The pandemic has really thrown a wrench into my extracurricular activities.
I've heard that. But I mean, I guess, generally speaking, not just during the pandemic. I'm saying, do you sit back and let the guys come in, or are you out there kind of hunting and pursuing, dropping off clues?
I'm a romantic. Okay. So I'm in that sense, I'm pro affair. It's like I like to meet a guy at a party and we talk all night and flirt, and then we DM, and then maybe later like we fuck at another party and we have a tryst that lasts a few weeks or something. That's the kind of thing I like. Like I'm not so on Grindr all the time, like having, because like some people I know are very like, oh, I have an open relationship and like I just like fuck guys on Grindr and it doesn't mean anything, and like my boyfriend doesn't care. Like I'm not like that. Like I want it to mean something. Like
you like the foreplay to the foreplay. It's the journey, not the destination.
It's the journey, not the destination. Like, and I want to be pursued, but I want to do a little bit of pursuing. It's like I just want excitement. I want to feel alive. You know what I mean? We only get one life. And so
you want it to feel like a Girls episode, HBO's Girls.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that because I've actually been on Girls twice.
I had no idea.
Like,
I had no idea either. I couldn't watch that shit. What were you on?
It's crazy that you don't remember my work as barista in season 5, episode 2.
I'm sorry. Our researcher took the week off because of the election, so that's our fault.
Many people said it was one of the most pivotal baristas of the year.
Yeah, working with Adam was just so awesome.
I did work with Adam, and he was chill. Wait, no, I worked with not Adam Driver, the Jewish guy.
No, I was talking about Adam Driver.
Yeah,
No,
we
the
don't
other
care
guy.
about the other guy, but the other guy is pretty cool.
Yeah, sadly,
That's who I
my
worked with.
life partner has a thing for Adam Driver, and I don't really know how to handle
I mean,
it.
I will Adam Driver, and I will say you as well, Jason. Not so much you, Chris, but you and Adam Driver have what I like to call dishes, which I think are the best thing a man can possess, which are big ears that stick out.
Dishes,
Dishes, like big satellite dishes,
big old floppy Dumbo ears.
that get every channel, and then some, like all the ESPNs.
ESPN Ocho. How are we getting this from different countries? I get it. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're an ear man.
I'm an ear, nose, and throat guy. You know what I'm talking about?
You can't have one without the other.
Damn, they're all connected.
What is it about a guy with those big old dishes on the head?
With big old floppers. Well, I mean, a protrusion is a protrusion, right? And
so you're saying it's a head bulge, basically.
Well, he's saying where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, it's a little bit. I think on a biological level, like it signals where there's smoke, there's fire. But I think aesthetically, for me, it frames the face in this way that's so just like raw and primal, but also there's also something really British about it, but like chavvy. And I guess I love that idea of kind of like I love someone who's like who kind of like crashed the party, you know what I mean? Who got into the wedding at like Biltmore Hall, but like they're actually from the wrong side of the tracks.
But they're wearing fake Burberry tracksuit. And you're how did he get in here? But also he doesn't have to leave.
No, exactly. Like his dad has a job, but he doesn't. Like I love that kind of guy.
Well, I think the reason is because you and my life partner, you look at me or somebody like me and you're like, I can change him. You know what I mean? There's a diamond under that rough. Maybe not.
I mean,
are you not a changer?
No,
you just read him. You just read him.
I think you read me and it made me uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I am a changer. But like,
isn't it weird? Because I never imagined you to be a changer, but sometimes there's certain rocks that we have to overturn on this journey. You know what I mean?
But even if your boyfriend is younger, a Gen Z, does he still need work?
Girl, he needs a lot of work.
Well, he's not as set in his ways, so maybe it's an easier project.
I mean, it is and it isn't. There are things you can change and there are things you can't, and you try. Ultimately, I actually think that you just don't change someone. I think that you can change someone like after you break up, like they are changed by you in this really beautiful way. But like, I don't think people actually like stop doing things that annoy you while you're with them. Like that just never happens.
I would agree with that.
You can repress it a little bit though, which is enough to get you through the day or the life.
Yeah, like temporarily, but it kind of comes back. People basically are the way they are until they break up with you, and then they become a completely different person that you both hate and like are angry about.
Well, this podcast has gone down lots of different twists and turns, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's just my love advice. But to the dish conversation, one thing I love about the pandemic is that people's masks kind of pull their ears forward a bit. And so like it gives a lot of guys a dishier appearance than they might otherwise have. And it's it's a visual treat for me.
So this is turning from a facial feature preference to a facial feature fetish. Is that safe to say?
Okay.
Okay.
Between a preference,
it sounds like you're walking down Bowery with a chub.
Well, I think
when you see the ears poking.
I guess the difference is like, I like that versus like, I like that, or like
it's in the tone.
Have you ever received oral sex and then grabbed onto the floppies?
Oh my god!
Well,
that's the final question of the show.
So in that sense,
the brain has to go there.
You're comparing them to pigtails. I guess for me...
Your words, not mine.
Yeah, okay.
For me, that's not what I think about. Because to me, dishes are like top energy. Like, and so I don't think about getting head from a top. Like, when I think about my erotic energy with a top, I'm just like, oh, my dick like evaporates. Like, I don't even have one anymore. But it's like, when I'm like with a bottom, like my boyfriend's bottom, for example, he's younger than me. As I mentioned, it's just like, oh, it's like, you know, I don't care about his ears because I'm like, I'm not seeing you as a top. So it's kind of like, it's a different dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
there's also something about the ear, the large ear. It's almost like an umbrella that protects you. You know what I mean? Like I'm a little princess, and I'm coming into your shelter from the storm.
Oh God, I'm dying. I can't.
If that makes sense, but I don't think it's a fetish, because a fetish is like a community. Like I'm not getting together with other dishists and being
You
like,
are absolutely.
Well, you are
going to
now,
Reddit.
Steven. After this podcast goes up, the DMs are going to light up, and
Reddit
Reddit/r/dishes. You are going to be a moderator by the end of the week.
Yeah, you're already the moderator for a category that doesn't exist yet. So
and it's also
congratulations on that.
the perfect crime, because you're like, oh, I'm just really into dishes, and you're like, yeah, my husband's a neat freak too. He's always scrubbing away, and then you do a little wink. Nobody has to know.
Yeah.
Where do you stand?
exactly.
Where do you stand on a piercing on the ear? Does that muddy up the situation, or does it make things even better?
I think it makes things better.
A single chrome hearts hoop.
Yeah, a little like an Aaron Carter kind of dangle.
Okay.
I think it adds weight to the area. It adds like stuff to that area.
Draw the eye and the attention to that dish.
It's true.
Draw the eye. Yeah.
Steven, this has been quite a journey. Thank you so much for potting with us.
A pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me on your pod. I still just I don't even know what your pod is. I don't think I know. I still
Most gay people don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just celebrated our 100th episode, so you're episode 101. And we started in March. So we do 3 podcasts a week.
3 a week?
That's
You
right,
heard me.
sweetie. We're fucking sprinting to the finish line while you losers are walking.
Wow. Okay. Are you seeing a demand for that? Is that what's that in response to?
I do not appreciate the tonality in your
Well,
voice.
you know,
when you ask that.
Howard Stern does 5 a week.
Exactly.
That's true.
If you want to think about it that way.
No, and I mean he is the legend, the gold standard. We can.
We
only
were described by a listener as the gay Howard Stern. So
But it also
made us feel good.
It depends on the subject matter of the show. But some people, the way they're talking, 1 week is a lot for them. Like for 1 hour a week, they have to let it all out. But for us, there's just so many dumb things we can talk about constantly in the world, in our lives, that we could do it every day if we wanted to.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys don't seem like you're sweating it at all. It's like a breeze for you to get through this, to just pull this much content out of your ass. Which brings me to the point of, I think if you were the gay Howard Stern, one note I would have is I think that you would want to bring male sex workers onto the show, and then one of you would have to sniff their holes and tell whether or not they're a vegetarian.
Okay, well, here's the deal. You introduce us to some male sex workers, and Jason will do the sniffing. No problem.
Great. I'd love to see. I love to see those dishes buried in a used hole.
Exactly. Wow. This really has been a pleasure, and thank you for giving me the visual images of Jason smelling and hearing an open hole.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
They
for
make
that.
a sound.
The door swings both ways.
Thank you guys. This has been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to go jack off now.
Can you plug, or would you like to plug anything? And your Instagram, your Twitter, any cool things coming up in your world that you
don't
want
say
people to
butts.
see?
Do not say butts. Do not say it.
This is not a plug joke, okay?
All right. Okay. I won't make it. I had a lot rolling around in there, but I won't make it. No, yeah. I'm just sort of like follow me on every platform. Like, keep your eyes open and your fingers crossed. Like there's a lot coming down the pipe. Like I have several projects launching soon. Retail properties, food brands, fragrances, and do Read Talk Hole and Interview Magazine, and honestly, like, do vote. And I'm sure you'll be listening to this after election, and that's why it's more important than ever to vote.
Yeah, for 2024, do vote.
Yes, vote every day.
Thank you for that.
Steven,
and,
God bless you.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Best regards.
Later.